What's going on, everybody? Welcome to day one or match one of Season Alpha here at Military Gaming League. My name is Travis, or Sham, as I'm known in the MGL community. I'm the commissioner of MGL and your master of ceremonies for today. On my left and right side, you'll see our two casters, Tanner and RJ. They will be casting for us today. Before we get into Season Alpha and today's matches, I want to very quickly explain MGL to all of you FNGs and to those of you that have been lurking around our AO for a while and might not have joined us in some of the activities that we've been doing. So MGL is a community and league for service members, veterans, family, NATO allies, and supporters with a mission to spotlight military gaming community while providing a unique way to strengthen the mental health and overall wellness of military and veterans. So how do we do that? Through Military Gaming League seasons. These are quarterly events, and any event that we do in these seasons, whether it be tournaments, branch battles, you name it, exhibitions, all of these encompass a season. And within the seasons, you'll get season rewards. And we'll have some really cool stuff going on over Season Alpha. This is our very first season that we're launching this kind of this program that we're doing. So without further ado, let's get into today's match, which is between Alpachas, who, if you have been here for a while, you saw dominate Season 0, and then Air Force Gaming Silver, who's a new team coming in to play at MGL. So to start it up, I'll toss it to the casting team here. Good luck to the teams.
Thank you, Travis. RJ, we finally get to do the darn thing. You and I coming into this one kind of just plucked out of the crowd, and we actually have a chance to now cast this one. We are unfamiliar with where we are headed, but I couldn't be more excited to be here with you, RJ.
Most certainly so, thank you. I am also absolutely ready to rock and roll for this one, Tanner. It's going to be a fun one, I think, because indeed, we've kind of been dropped into it, right into the frying pan, so to speak. But I'm very, very curious to see what these, military-based teams have to offer, right? There's got to be some really great tactical minds in there, I'm sure. Yeah,
it's really cool to hear. We were chatting a little bit kind of in the green room, or what we would consider the green room for these remote broadcasts. With Travis or Sham, who you just saw on your screen, and kind of talking us through. The chat probably knows this by now, but to anybody who is outside or outsider or outside looking in, right, the military and the branches here in the U.S., they're starting to promote esports programs, right, which is awesome. I think the only thing I can think of right back in the day were traditional sports. So now that esports is kind of being picked up, I don't know. That just feels, RJ, it just feels like more worldwide to me, that it's just actually being recognized, especially for our military members.
Most certainly. So that's something they're doing over on this side of the channel as well. And I think it's a great way really to get people interested, to get more people, I guess, gaming, and also obviously a way to find the crazy talents that are out there.
And so it looks like map number 1 just about underway. I thought we were headed to Ascent, just because I just felt it. I felt it in my bones that we were headed to Ascent. It is going to be Breeze here for the first one. I'm assuming that we're playing on the most recent patch as well. We should have done our homework a little bit and checked that one. But that means a whole lot of new everything, basically. So, yeah, okay, confirmation it is the most recent patch. So, Winston here, who was leaning towards that Reyna, before it seemed like a silly pick. Nowadays, it might not be too bad. But is there anything that stands out for what we have locked in so far, RJ?
For now, we're still seeing quite a few of the defaults coming through, right? KO is just a go-to Breeze pick, I'd say. The Sova and the Jet that I'm seeing on the side for AFG, I believe they seem like pretty solid picks. We're seeing mostly mirror matchups, and Arena that in the end will not be coming through, it seems like.
We got you baited. We got you baited. Winston doesn't know what he wants. Winston doesn't know what he wants. They are really flirting with the idea of a crazy composition here.
Scary times ahead. Oh, I do see the Reyna being picked, and it is actually locked in, so that was the right call by you, Tanner. That one will be coming in, actually. Maybe a little bit of light can be shed on how that one will work now with those recent changes, and how it might be a better fit then for Breeze, I guess.
Well, yeah, so I think previously, a lot of the times that you don't see Reyna anywhere is because She hasn't been, you know, the best Agent 4 team play, especially on a large map like Breeze. You think of some other maps like the Haven that has long sight lines, Pearl now that has long sight lines. But with the most, I think the biggest thing outside of the re-equip speed for Reyna, the largest overhaul that she just got, or change that she just got, is the buff to the Leer that now it has no distance. There's no fall off. So if it's in your POV, you are going to get nearsighted by it. So I think... I mean, Winston's going to show us something here with this Reyna tech. I'm really excited to see this on Breeze.
Absolutely. So it's going to definitely sample up to be a one-banger, a lovely best of 3 in that sense. We'll be diving into that in a moment now as the time is running down and these teams are getting ready. There seems to be a bit of B-site focus going on with the way the Spike and all the other players are lined up, and they do decide to move for it rather quickly. But the utility is quick on the ball game. It seems like the sight lines are ready to meet one another as they are looking out Grady, ready for that initial hold perhaps, but the entire team, the Alpachas falling right on back for some middle action where the chamber's right around the corner, but Weenie Winston's even closer to be found by Eugene. Jam following it right up by taking out Water Buffalo. That gives you the 3v5 right now. The Alpachas really outnumbering their opponents, and Wells maybe being able to make a difference for Air Force Gaming. Being found rather quickly by Zach, now pulling this down to a whopping 2v5, maybe even a 1v5 if the Frenzy can work it out, but it seems like Grady can at least balance that one out and now have that plan coming through. Alpachas looking rather strong here with Zerovius finding that second to last kill, and if Grady might be able to sneak something away.
Unfortunate there, a little maybe too quick on the flank. Obviously, a trademark tipped off the push from Winston here just outside of A main. And then there's just no help, right? That's kind of where everybody, or all the Alpachas, I should say. It's kind of where all the Alpachas were hanging out. We were hanging out at the zoo here just outside A main. Flirt with the idea of pushing up towards mid. And then just completely alone was Weenie Winston. No real help, no real aggression from the other side until it was too late. So that's tough, but I think that's maybe to be expected. The Alpachas, we heard at the start, right? The reigning defending champions of Series 0, and they have a title to uphold, and they're up to a good start, and it gets, I'm going to say, it gets even gooder, even though I know it's not. No, it's not right.
Best way of phrasing it. I don't cast any doubt on that in the slightest. Right away with that entry, Zerovius looking and finding a beautiful shot on Kinda Trash. I'd say that makes it pretty clear who's the trash one in that comparison, as currently Skinny Bitchest commits to the spike plant. Zag follows it right up, and it looks like the Alpachas are setting things in motion very, very quickly. This is a rapid A-site take, and it leaves Grady as that last one holding out yet again, as it has been going. Zach will go down. Grady has been good with those picks on the Ghost. It seems like the presence being detected and Skinny Bird Chest going for the wall bang is far too deadly. The Alpachas right now on the 2-0 and with a great start to kick things off for them. Means that I might be seeing 3-0 potential coming through, but I suppose it's the bonus round that the Alpachas are entering. They
did prove to be pretty proficient, though. The one Marshall that I'm looking at, that's a very scary prospect. Zerovius having that one at 4-0. I definitely think you have to try and avoid this jet, or these Vandals are going to end up in the wrong hands. But like you said, bonus round here. Wait, okay, so hold on. Our teams were actually switched previously. So the Alpachas are coming in slow. The defending champions are coming in slow, and now we see them try and get to pick things up, like you said, with that full buy round.
Yes, very solid call. So it is the Air Force Gaming Silver Boys that are going on the 2-0 to clarify. Currently, it does look like we'll have that mid-presence. The Alpachas showing a bit more dare because they've got the weaponry for it at this point. With Zag falling and the Owl drone for that recon. Kinda Trash with a good possibility of finding a tag. Maybe the shot dart that'll follow up quite well. Seems like the angle's not lined up quite the way he wants it to. The entirety of Air Force Gaming actually getting scared away and falling back right now. Zerovius, though, as you said, that Marshall is a wild, wild something. But it looks like for now, with Jam following it up, the player count gets balanced back out again. And the entirety of AFG, they move to the B site.
This Viper wall, though, it should be a problem. It really only allows safe passage through tunnel. And we're not seeing that yet. We are seeing a couple players flirt with the idea. Zerovia is finally going to make good on what we talked about with the Marshall, but the back and forth continues, and with that, AFGS, they're just kind of sitting around, right? They're not pushing forward. Finally, they're going to walk into it, and Grady just gets to collect.
That's a masterful double and a chance with the timer going down to finish this out. A triple in the end. And the Alpachas claim their first round. It just took them a decent buy to get it through right away, showing that resistance, but knocking Air Force Gaming out on their bonus round. Makes me wonder if this will be good for the long term or if this is just a bit of a momentary upset.
Yeah, I was worried the clock was starting to become a problem. The kind of getting funneled into one avenue approach starting to become a problem, and we actually did see that issue come to light. And Grady just gets to hold it down, hold down mouse one, spray down the 3 members who are all coming from that same avenue. And AFGS, a different look this time around. They actually want to try and take Hall's control. Water Buffalo has been putting this trademark here, so at the end of the day, they should get this information. But if you can just hop up there, pop that trademark, that's immediately going to call over rotations. And would you look at that? Winnie Winston does it again. Oh, for 2 this time.
Oh, scary times ahead, that's for sure. Eugene can claim back a little bit of that control, taking out Winnie Winston, enacting some revenge for the fallen teammates. I think as AFG Zerovius currently moves through, but gets found out by AFG Wells. Jam to turn it back in a 2v3 to stand with the ultimate from Grady coming through in the meantime. Eugene might be able to find something, but it's kind of trash in the meantime. That turns it into a 3v1. Well, it's been the Viper on the Alpachas side in the past staying alive. This time it's Eugene, the Viper on the AFG side. Moving around, but I think realizing that this is a bit of a lost round on his side, even if he's got such a pretty operator, that I think he'll be a lot better saving for the future. Or is this going to be a cheeky dive? No, I don't think so. It's just the save call, resting it out in this little corner.
That's a lot of time, though, to have to stay alive, right? You've got 20 seconds plus, I think, the extra 6 that you'll get at the end of the round. It doesn't look like anybody's too close to finding this operator, so Eugene should be able to hang on. I want to talk about this Viper wall that we're seeing out towards mid. So the adaptation made because the pit goes down inside main, and this Viper wall, it allows for your team to not only push in through elbow and get pretty close into that elbow position out towards mid, but just take all of that space from mid doors, out from mid nest. It really kind of funnels his attacking side to the left side of mid, and then at that point you can have X amount of members on the outside, or even a player playing up on top of the wall for elbow to look at that mid-stack area. So I really like that we're seeing different looks from Grady, who, has the brain power and the fragging power at 6 and 2 thus far.
Exactly, starting to really define himself, show up on that leaderboard as one of the key players on the Alpachas side. It's nice to just see in general, really, that they can bounce back right away after you had the AFG boys making such a solid start. Currently, another round that kicks on off Zach, scoping down Tube, but not finding right away. I found it funny, by the way, you called that one Halls, I think you said. I've always called that one Tube in my mind. I feel like those call-outs might differ as well a bit region-wise. See, personally, I think both work. I like them both. See if now Zerovius can make something work with the rest of the team on that A site. You've got the defense, though. The support from mid coming through means that there's 4 people in total present for any pressure that might be set. Water Buffalo on the lookout. Zerovius, however, finding the first entry on Weenie Winston in the meantime. Water Buffalo, Wells being able to throw it back. That's a solid double in return. And that's a 3v4 that stands. Flashes come in well. They do take away some vision. They do take away some of the defense, but it's only momentary. A-site could be taken at any time, though, but the hostiles, they do get detected. The KO knife giving that one away. And Wells clearly on the prowl, realizing enemies are about and have got to be able to find them. Another bout of abilities coming through. Jam able to maybe commit to the plant with the Viper wall for support right now, but it will be Eugene as he's the one who's got the spike in hands. This is some aggression Jam showing. Could perhaps work out. And indeed for 1 it's good, and for a double most certainly so. A 2v2 currently stands, but the spike is ticking. Jam for now having found those critical 2 kills. Close cut fight with Water Buffalo on the front, pushing ahead, finds Skinny Bird Chest with a wall bang through the edge, and Jam should be lined up. Good damage dealt, but low himself, Grady finishing the job, and the Alpachas taking the 3rd round, and with that, the lead.
Jam played that really, I mean, just as well as you could. Kind of playing that back and forth, that dance around the pyramid. The wall banks could have gone either way, and he could have found that kill under Water Buffalo, who had a really strong start to that round. Not only finding the kill, I believe it was onto Zach up inside Tube, but also getting a lot of damage onto Eugene. So in that 4v3, it was kind of a 4v2. Eugene basically just needed to stay out of the fight to make sure that he stayed alive, so the toxins would be available. And I think now what we're seeing is this Alpaca team slowly start to wake up. We're starting to see the champion. It's kind of like the sleeping bear. They've been poked a little bit in the first couple of rounds by Air Force Gaming, and now they are awake and fully prepared to play. And for the last couple of rounds, have had these ultimates online. The Empress for when Winston Weenie Winston. Weenie, Winston, Weenie. I think that you got some room to move with there. Well, this could be the round we see the Empress, because he's doing the same thing here.
Chances are definitely there as he is moving through, finds that first fight, but Jam will take him down in return. Also happy to see Zach show some skills with the ever so beautiful Tour de Force. There was love going really over-exaggerated on the pronunciation, and Zach proves right away why I should. As a double comes right through, and it is AFG that make a beautiful start out of this one. 5v2 means a relentless round. Jam right away with the plant. It's only Water Buffalo left with his teammate. He does move ahead. He's ready to defend. The Serovius is right around. I don't think he'll be anticipated. That is a cheeky kill and a half. Even though Grady throws it back, it will not be enough. Only one person found, and a really solid round from AFG after a pretty nice 3-round streak that came out. They balance out that score once again.
And Grady kind of just been left on an island, and I'm wondering how many more rounds it's going to take for Alpachas to start making changes with where this Viper's playing, right? We know that Grady has played a really strong defense. Even in the retakes, he's allowed his team, or helped his team. So it does look like a changeup from Air Force Gaming. I can't imagine they end up on this B site just because of how strong this Viper has been. I think there's a lot of weight on the shoulders of Winston here, who tries to be first contact every single round, and the rounds that Alpachas are winning are the rounds that Winston is winning those first duels.
Absolutely agreed. I also feel like the individual skill from the Alpaca side does shine through, but it's Grady that really takes the majority of it, right, kills-wise. But sometimes all you need is just that one entry from Weenie Winston, for example, that we saw a moment ago. For now, though, Grady will have a chance to shine as Air Force Gaming. They're setting themselves up for that B angle, but they're leering towards mid. Scary times ahead, that's for sure. Kind of Trash who gets the intel, and the attention from Weenie Winston will be drawn. He is looking that way, and it seems like they might be ready to box them in a moment. Currently, Wells also setting right on up to Reed, and indeed you will have that immediate response. AFG, they fall on back towards their spawn. But of course, that time is ticking. They've only got 30 seconds on the clock. Zerovius, he's pulled out his dash, so I'm expecting some movement in a moment. He should be able to find Wells in a second. Timing on the Viper wall here looked to be okay, but indeed he did still get the read. That's one entry coming through, but that's Water Buffalo right on the return. That Tour de Force, as always, such a powerful ability to throw into the play. The time, 10 seconds, give or take. It's got to be now. Never to get that spike down. Eugene really sold on the entry. Water Buffalo throwing it back, however, and Skinny Bird Chest getting another critical kill. But the spike, is it going to go down? I'm afraid not. It is far too stuck in the corner. It will be Water Buffalo eventually finishing it off with a beautiful 4K. And the headshots fitting for the Headhunter. 4-3, and Alpachas, they cut it close, but they do make it a spectacle to behold.
It got a little sloppy there at the end. Got a little sloppy. I love how that round is capped off by all of the Tour de Force shots expended, couple of headshots missing. As soon as both players, it's like, this is, I think, a known kind of phenomenon in Valorant, that when people aren't looking at you, they are harder to shoot. So as soon as both attackers turn and look at Water Buffalo, just easy, pop, pop. The grapes get popped, and he makes good on, you know, having that gold gun. Making it basically look like the 007 gold gun that, or I guess the Spike Rush gold gun that just one-shots.
Oh, you put me in the mood for, you know, playing around a Spike Rush again after our beautiful evening right here. Definitely something that I'm going to put on my planning now. As in the meantime, halls or tube, of course, call it whichever you like, control has been established. But I would still be afraid, and indeed kind of trash. He is right along the angle, but the AFG boys have pushed through so well. And in the meantime, Weenie Winston finding that frag. Zerovius going down is a solid start for them. The Alpachas, of course, potential to make this into the 5-3, but more kills have to come through. Maybe a possibility to delay again. Kind of trash now, however, coming ahead. Eugene throwing it right on back. And a 3v4 standing for the Alpachas. Not being able to win the battle. Skinny Burchest throwing it right on through. A 3v3 in total. No direct sight control, however. They're still around that mid-angle, and they're now finally starting to move through. They've got that Viper support from Eugene coming in. And they've got that push onto the site where Water Buffalo and Wells have completely different ideas. Suddenly, the ultimate, even though it was nice from the KO, it will not be good enough. Skinny Burchest putting the pressure through, and Water Buffalo, I believe, with that critical operator. 5-3, and the Alpachas maybe when it is, I think, the most critical one. We are already halfway through that first half, starting to establish themselves, maybe having a chance for more streaks here, because you see that economy on the FG side absolutely ruined.
Yeah, it's not great. We did see kind of glimpses of hope, though. The rays of shining light coming through the rain clouds. You know, when Zerovius did have the Marshal in hand, and the Stinger did just get buffed. But yeah, it's a tall task, a far cry for AFG, Air Force Gaming, to find a win in this round. I think the thing that you're looking for ultimately... Ooh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Not bad, not bad.
That is a solid bit of intel coming right through. Weenie Winston, however, will still find the initial two, actually. Skinny Burchest and Zerovius both falling. And Weenie Winston, absolutely love that name, by the way. Such a fun thing to say every time. Had to reload there rather quickly. A bit of a pinch to be in. Will be thrown back somewhat. A frag found by Eugene. And Hunter's Fury coming in as a retort. Grady also greedy for the kills, but obviously having the skill to back that up. Feels like the Alpachas are really locking down AFG right now, putting them stuck in that middle action, and Grady finding the double. Zach and Jam having both fallen. Wells will push ahead, but it's Grady stealing it. The triple in total. And the Alpachas doubling down on the amount of rounds versus their opponents. 6 versus 3.
And you almost think, at least me, I'm thinking, okay, Grady, 8-3. We talked about how good this guy can be. We saw it in rounds prior. But is it just because the timing was right? Is it just because the situation was perfect, right? He was playing around the poison cloud in one round, sprayed down 3 members, got those kills for free. And then you watch the guy walk out towards mid and just go from head to head to head, a spray down while he's flashed to collect the second of the third. Grady's here to play.
Clearly on another level in that sense, I think. But Skinny Burchest still tries absolute best to turn it back around. Has, however, had to tank some damage for it, but Grady on the lookout. Skinny Burchest coming right on through, however, and it's a trade fest. Kills going either way. And currently we see that 2v3 standing for AFG. B site control is up for grabs. They've got the Viper wall that's coming right through for them, and that's really the support. As currently the spike plan has come ahead. 2v3 still standing, but the time now being on the side of AFG. They can weigh it out, and it's the boys from the Alpachas that have to take the risk, but maybe Water Buffalo is absolutely happy to do that. 2v2 retake feels a bit more realistic. Viper will fade eventually. Water Buffalo, though, critical on the entry. The Headhunter now searching. And a possibility to lock down that window with the operator, but a hit not coming through right away. A half defuse is also difficult. The spike is planted well, but Water Buffalo, he's absolutely ready for it. The 3rd kill found. And Kaiden Rash, he will be able to stick the defuse, find the 7th round in this. I think really strong performance from the Alpachas so far. Thanks to Grady, but Water Buffalo, that's really started defining himself as well now.
And it's hard too, right? Where you have A site is locked down by your chamber with the operator. B site is locked down by your Viper with whatever gun and all of the util. And then, you know, you're worrying about, hey, how can we take these sites? You also have the rest of the team pushing you in a lot of these choke points, right? Whether it be through A main, B main, out towards mid. the Reyna has always been there. Weenie Winston has always been there. In the last couple of rounds, he's had help. This time, he's solo, however.
And a new chance for Weenie Winston. The first to come ahead. A lot of low HP, but Zerovius better on the turn. But the HP is going to be a critical factor, especially for Zerovius. Not really a healing element that comes through for them either. Now a quick plant commitment, but kind of trash finding it. The Viper ult doing a lot of the work right here with the DK coming into play. Zach then also on the return, but well spying in the meantime. Kind of trash with the surprise element, you'd say, but no. Eugene denies it. That buffed Stinger coming in clutch. AFG Wells ready to find regardless. And obviously the players they know. And there's a cheeky peek that comes through. Jam trying his absolute best. The 1v3 is difficult to win, difficult to find. Although the hostiles get detected, the DK is far stronger. It's AFG finally on a round. Finally for one to return, but not after a solid 4-round streak that came through from the Alpachas.
And they finally get one back. Eugene was sitting on that Viper's pit for quite some time. Ever since that Hall play a few rounds prior, he had that pit available, and it seems like a good tool to win. It's one of those situations where you are running out of time. The spike is ticking down. And in your solo queue games, you probably want less of this. But in that situation, maybe if somebody's kind of chirping a little bit more about the utility that was available. You know, there's a lot of angles to worry about, and you have 2 flashes, a fragment, and that 0 point to work with. Unfortunately, we just didn't see any of it from Wells. So, hindsight play, obviously. And this one's looking to be quick.
Felt like it was already smothered out by that Viper ultimate. And right now, the boys from Alpachas, they're getting smothered out again. It'll be by the hands of Zerovius. Water Buffalo, good to throw it back for 1 kill. Just that 1 kill cannot compensate for the 3 teammates already lost. Zach also eager to find, and indeed he will succeed. 2 of the Force coming in clutch, and a 3rd kill in total. A bunch of really solid triples that have shown themselves so far, and it's great to see at this halftime switch that the AFG lads have been able to compensate, that they've been able to make it into that 5v7. Because I feel like rounds-wise, a good pistol round and a good follow-up, and you've got this one balanced, right?
Yeah, you're right around the corner from tying this one up. Yeah, you take that pistol, you take that anti-eco, you take the pistol convincingly on defense. Maybe you have somebody like Zerovius invest a little bit more, you know, Vandal light shields. That way when you are looking at a 7-7 game, your bonus round has a bit more oomph behind it, but it does start here in the pistol. And we're already kind of getting a different look at the way that the Vipers play, whereas Grady quickly tossed the wall out towards mid, cut the sight in half, put the poison cloud down. For now, Eugene hanging onto that toxic screen, not yet using it, so probably saving it for a retake.
I guess in that sense, it's a long-term game that they're showing, which might also be best. The Alpachas, though, are also showing something. That is very swift sight pressure. Look at Weenie Winston right along the edge, but the flash won't even stop him. Still good to find a frag. Water Buffalo with a great follow-up on the Headhunter. And boom, spike already planted. The Alpachas, they know how to make an entry. Even though Zach throws it back just a little with Water Buffalo going down. Skinny Bird just also getting a chance, but kind of trash then on that classic Wells with the double ghost throw. And that's a really, really good pistol round in my eyes. 3 people also left alive. Damaged, sure, but that HP is set right back as you go to the next round. In my eyes, this was convincing enough for a pistol round.
Yeah, very convincing. I do think Eugene trolled a little bit with the toxic screen. The way that he threw it, it made it really hard for, I believe it was both him and Zerovius coming from mid, and he basically had to fight through his own toxic screen and then run into another toxic screen with people, you know, flashing and fighting through that. But yeah, a convincing round, and one where we saw Weenie Winston. Weenie Winston just wanted to attack on defense. Now that they're on attack, this is going to be Reyna's playground.
And you make the perfect point. It's Weenie Winston that goes for the entry yet again. And it's Alpachas that are really defining their attacking side with the quick movement. Weenie Winston, in the meantime, good for a 2nd kill. But Jam is able to at least find something with the Sheriff. Water Buffalo, though, on the lookout. The Marshal hoping to find. Indeed, in the meantime, not succeeding. As currently, Water Buffalo gets to keep looking, but Grady makes the Bulldog work its magic as well. Eugene eventually making a critical mistake as he peeks into Water Buffalo's painful Marshall. In the end, it is a almost flawless round that the Alpachas throw down, and just a 1 point away from the fated double digits, as I like to call it. It's always an important mental milestone in my eyes if you are playing your half.
And it's the inverse of what we were talking about previously, saying, hey, if AFGS, they can grab the pistol round, the anti-eco, if they force up in their anti-eco, it looks pretty good. That's exactly what Alpachas did. They brought a couple of Bulldogs into it, a Marshall, a Phantom, which they retrieved, and now this bonus round, they're actually buying pretty heavily into it, and they just got punished for it.
Oh. Might have been the right call if I see Zach making this entry, and we did notice this slight turnaround in the first half as well, right? With that buy round coming through and really making the difference. That gave the chance for a turnaround in the momentum. So currently AFG has got that one task ahead of them. Just play this buy round out really, really well and make sure that they don't give Alpachas more of that momentum, because, as I said, double digits, they're a milestone. But I also think that it put Alpachas way too close to the first map win. It is the best of 3, so that means a lot. Wells now for that entry search. But Skinny Bird Chest, the one to deny this time. Looks like the Alpachas, they're getting some ground here and there, mostly near Tube. But I don't know if they'll be able to really utilize it. Skinny Bird Chest is clearly holding the angle. Those Vandals are deadly, even if the Lear came in a bit quicker there. Weenie Winston now moving ahead. Skinny Bird Chest at least being found, but is that enough? There's still a 1-player deficit on the Alpachas side. There's still so much more to be found. As right now, Weenie Winston actually has a really, really critical flank position. Noise is made, and now Zach finds. 2v4 remain. Time was a factor, but Zach with a 4K. Solid play. 9-6. AFG, they throw it back on the second half. They find their first round.
And they do it in the best way possible. A near flawless. It's not much of a reinvestment to have to rebuy into this, so they will have full guns. On the opposite side for Alpachas, they brought some extra. I think 2 Vandals are bought into that round. They obviously had that Phantom from the round prior. So their economy, although it looks like they've got rifles, well, I guess it's actually not as bad as I thought. 1 Bulldog doesn't feel the best, but full shields across the board, so it's not the worst for the Alpachas. But we've seen what Air Force Gaming can do once they've got a little bit of momentum behind them.
Question is, if right now those guns will be enough, that alone. It feels like the quick sight plays that they were making earlier can't quite work out here. Weenie Winston then for the first fight, but Zach throws it back really well. Solid double pressure that also comes through. Zach with a double in the meantime. Water Buffalo a little bit locked out, but Zach absolutely on fire. A triple so far. And Skinny Bird just trying to find that 4th kill in total, as the Alpachas are halved down again against their opponents. It's just Water Buffalo with Weenie Winston left. Zach is quick to look, but Weenie Winston is quicker to fire. Skinny Bird Chest, however, can still find Water Buffalo now, singling him out entirely. A quick tap or 2 will come through. I don't think it will be enough, and the low HP is the deadly factor right here. Zerovius with the last kill. A 7-9 on the board. AFG making that comeback.
The one thing that you don't get with the Reyna and what AFG have with the Jet is your ability to take space. It has to be off the back of something, right? Whether it be a Lear or whether it be a flash. The problem with that, even if you get somebody flash, you can still get timing, because after you go off of the flash drive or the Lear, your team has to just walk right behind it. Zerovius, or if you had a Jet for Alpachas, you can have that cloudburst dash play where you break a lot of the crosshair placements and the rest of your team can play behind it. So we're starting to see Alpachas, if they don't find these early frags at the start of these rounds, they really struggle because they just have to walk in and take fights.
Walking in might be what they're doing, seeing as at least they're finding Zach's tour de force. Again, one of those strongholds, and the Alpachas with, I think, an immediate momentum loss in my eyes. Zerovius also good on the defense to take out kind of trash. And right away, momentum just being lost left, right, and center. Jam and Eugene coming ahead. A double kill for them. 1, respectively, of course. And suddenly it's all down to the Water Buffalo. Even though I think he sounds very impressive by name. I'm afraid that a 1v5 clutch situation is a bit too tough, even for him.
He's just surrounded. There's no way out for the Water Buffalo. Everybody is coming through. Camelbacks in hand, trying to top off. Nice little team ace there. Yeah, that's... okay, so admittedly, Alpachas didn't have the best arsenal coming into that round, so they save up, they buy what they can, buy for next, and now they will have rifles. And, okay, this is the question that I was about to ask, right? Does Water Buffalo feel more comfortable with an operator in his hands, even on the attacking side? And there's the answer.
I mean, he's been really strong on that operator. He's at the top of the leaderboard for a reason. We saw it coming in clutch in the previous half. But on that defense, it is such a different game to play. I'm happy to see the opening operator. I'm happy to see him do some crazy things. It's going to be a tough fight either way. He's looking down shoot. It looks like he might be looking for the first fight there, but he misses a shot, and he will not be able to compensate for Zerovius. A really, really good double entry. But the KO ult maybe being the saving grace. Jam also somewhat baited by it, I'd say. But Zerovius able to take out Grady and KO. About to lose the chance, as currently Zerovius on that triple. Water Buffalo along with Kind Trash left out. They're still near the same position where they started the round. Spike in the hands of the Sova. But Eugene, well, you can already see how comfortable he is, right? He's gathering some ultimate orbs in the meantime. He just figures, oh, this round is won anyway. Zach, so solid on the hold, you would say. But Water Buffalo can at least make that operator work as we prophesized it somewhat. And I say we, but that was definitely on you, Tanner. You highlighted it as it should have been. But I still feel like he's in a tough fight ahead of him. Time also starting to tick. Obviously, the Alpachas with just half a minute left.
30 seconds left.
Can they make that entry? The abilities are also going to be difficult to find. There's no Viper Wall or anything of the sorts really to help their entry. It's just down to the Sova, but the Hunter's Fury actually really critical. However, it will find the one, I believe, at the end there. One tag, but the time's still ticking. 10 seconds on the clock, so what are they going to do? Water Buffalo have a good on the defense. Zerovius being covered. 2v2 remains and the spike has gone down. The time difference changes, but the Water Buffalo, he seems to be solid. Eugene, though, with a beautiful double. Able to balance it out, not just in player count, but in round count in total. 9-9 is the score. They stand toe-to-toe.
Wow. So I was going to make the same point, even if Alpachas had won this round, because that would have been a miracle play with Water Buffalo doing damage with the operator. But we saw at the start of that round, right? They want to play through A, so they toxic screen, they wall up, they overdrive, they flash out, and then Zerovius just sits back and just taps through the toxic screen, knowing that they have to come out of A main at some point. And with the Vandal, you can tap 25 times before you have to, reload the magazine. So 3 kills right off the top, because they don't have somebody to break the crosshair placement. So a different look now that they head out towards B. I have some ideas of what I'd like to see for the next A hit, but it seems like they're just mixing it up a bit.
I was about to say maybe speed that'll be applied again, but they're still somewhat hesitant. They're combining mid control with that B main position. Currently, Eugene, however, is still looking the ways of middle, and the support from the rest of the team is quick to be coming through. For now, abilities can't quite find the entry, and it'll be Skinny Bird Chest with the first kill in the round. Grady to fall. That's immediately one of the top players, you would argue, on the Alpachas side. But I think now that Grady is actually middle of the board, something to check out with the next round. As for now, Alpachas still on the hunt. Water Buffalo maybe with the 2 of the 4s, but no one's silly enough to peek that, right? No one's feeling insane enough to think, oh, I'll take that risk. Zach, on the other hand, just has to hold. Finds a kill just like Jam did a moment ago. A 5v2 stands, and I really did think at the start of this second half that Alpachas were looking solid, that maybe they'd be able to tell this one out rather quickly. It stood 9-5 for a moment, but AFG has started coming back, and they haven't stopped since. For now, just the 2 players left out. Recon Bolt won't give any precious intel due to the cloud that's on top of it. And Wells, they'll try to enter around, but the time again is coming into play. The repeat should be there to annoy them just enough. Skinny Bird Chest able to find 2, culminating in 3 kills in total for this round, and AFG actually on those double digits, where Alpachas looked to be grabbing them a moment ago. A really, really nice comeback, a really nice round streak.
It's getting pretty dire. I think. Okay, so they're gonna try B again. The problem is they were expecting a similar defensive hold to what they do. Just the Viper on this site. And I was even thinking in my head, wow, Eugene threw that poison cloud, and it wasn't great. But Zach was still there holding the off angle for anybody to push through. They're going to try it again, but they are really forcing this B site.
And it will be that ultimate coming ahead. This could give the attackers the edge that they need. However, financially, it'll still be rather tough. Eugene are ready to look things out. And Zach ready to throw it back. Weenie Winston with the first kill. Kind of trash. Then committing to the plant. Currently a spike that has gone down. A chance maybe for the Alpachas with a 1 kill that they've already found. Eugene ready to look. Still in that Viper ult. Zerovius can't see anything. Eugene will still be looking. Jam, however, to find first kill on the defense. A 4v4 stands. And Jam, good for a second. Assist also important. Not over getting that third. Weenie Winston will deny that, but Zerovius and Eugene, they'll be absolutely clutch. Critical 2 kills in total. And Wells now remaining, but Zerovius finding him. The defuse will come through, and it'll be the AFG lads 11-9. 2 rounds in total, plus the KO res at the end means that economically, they're just going to keep things smoothly sailing.
Yeah, smooth sailing. Heads up play from Eugene, who isn't having the most standout performance in way of, I guess, frags. 10 assists is actually not bad. It's a bit more than you would expect to get out of a Viper player. You usually get that out of your initiators, but really heads up. As soon as the pit came down, he layered his own right on top of it. We talked about the round previous where he's kind of having these bait plays with bad utility to set Zach up to be that 20 and 16 on the chamber. So really heads up, and they're just making sure that there's no way that Alpachas start to get this momentum going. It's been a couple of rounds in a row now that Alpachas have just been struggling to, again, take any space away from this AFG defense.
Well, a Buffalo, though, he'll be doing his best. He's got the tube angle, and he's right at the headshot height. Zerovius the first to fall. And Water Buffalo with further control. In theory, the A site can very, very efficiently be moved on. They've got to deal with Jam initially, but flash support should be possible. Whoa. Never mind, though. Jam's a bit greedy and will run into Grady's aim, into Grady's scope. Wells also with a follow-up, but then Zach pops on off a double from him. Grady to retort. Eugene still in the play, but a 1v3 is so tough to find. Maybe if Wells falls, there's a chance, but never ye mind. It will be the Alpachas finally finding their 10th round, and it feels as if they're just doing it on purpose, right? When the pressure starts, when they notice our enemy is 2 rounds ahead of us, now we've got to throw it back. We will be getting a timer in a moment for the Alpachas to maybe say, hey, we did a good job here. What will we do to go for that 11th round?
Yeah, so I want to see a couple of things. One, I think, I know that Jam has a lot of fans in the chat. I think Jam trolled us a little bit. Hearing the Sova ult, or not ult, but utilize the Owl Drone, the Whirly Bird, out from mid doors, he opts into peeking and trying to get in that kill instead of just spraying through. Obviously a hindsight play, but when you hear that happening and you can wallbang those doors, there's just a lot of real estate out towards mid, so just kind of swinging dry like that, you can get punished for it. So he wasn't expecting somebody else to be there. He gets punished for that. I want to see from Alpachas more halls control, more tube control. The only way that they're going to be able to walk safely from A main into site is if they have players up in tube, either taking down that trademark or opening up that door. So that way the player's pyramid or the player's stairs can't just sit and have a timing on that spray down through the toxic screen. They didn't crunch or split the A site last round, but they did have Water Buffalo have that presence up in tube, and it obviously starts to throw a wrench into plans because now you have to worry about spawn, mid-nest, where can that chamber be? So if they're going to hit this A site, I would like to see, if not some mid presence behind it, more tube presence.
Yeah, they also got a little bit lucky in my eyes with some unnecessary aggression from Grady on those A doors. That really kicked everything off. Let's see if this time then they'll be able to find another great kickoff. Push this 11-11 for what in my eyes, by the way, is a beautifully closed map for the first one that we're covering tonight. Zerovius will can prove a good start. Operator, of course, very powerful. And I'd say perfect for a Jet player. Zerovius also eager to find his next frag, but I don't think it'll be that easy. Currently, the Viper Wall denies a lot of the vision. Wells also happy enough to take a peek through it. The plant going down, that's the most important thing. Grady to find the frag on Zerovius, a 4v4 to stand. And now the Alpachas locking down the A site as best they can. But the mid support coming ahead, and AFG just waiting for a moment to move on through. Timing is a bit off, but Water Buffalo actually struggling to the fight. Now Eugene be able to throw it back to Skinny Bird, Chest, and Zach. They all follow it up. A kill for everybody. And a beautiful headshot, or what was looking like a headshot to come through from Zach, means that AFG is able to put down the defuse, and that currently it'll stand 12-10. Oh. I was a bit scared there for a moment. I thought there was an oopsie coming through, but nope, all good. 12-10, and the defenders, they've got just one round left. One round for the first map to be theirs.
A gift.
Yeah, after being down 7-5 at the half, I do think that this map can lean a little attacker-sided, especially when you're unfamiliar with one another, right? Not having history playing these teams. On the attacking side, you can just play a bit more puggy and make it work. Not the case, though. AFG doing a pretty good job once they finally got a read on this Alpachas squad to punish some of the things that they were getting away with at the start of this attacking half. And one thing that we haven't seen in a long time is a play like this, where Winnie Winston just tries to take matters into his own hands.
Winnie Winston indeed with a great start. Zach to be found, and a double, a triple to come through. Weenie Winston, this is what the Alpachas need. And Water Buffalo, a follow-up. Sure, that is solid, but the entire round has basically been played out. It's flawless. It's over in the blink of an eye. The Alpachas with their 11-12 still in the play. But AFG, I think, have got the reserves to work on here. I see that weaponry. I see Operators, Vandals. Indeed, what was to be expected. A great chance for AFG still to play this out, but at the same time, a great chance for Alpachas to push this to overtime.
Yeah, overtime available. Empress will not be, but we do need to see, if Winnie Winston doesn't do it, it seemingly doesn't get done for the Alpachas. So we're hoping for another big round.
Night-night.
Zerovius, however, isn't.
No, rather saying night-night and hoping to finish out this round. It's just the one kill. A lot can still happen. And Weenie Winston, who else, obviously, to compensate. Jam, though, right on that angle. Finding Weenie Winston on the return. Grady balances the players out once more. 3v3. Grady with a really good ultimate. This could be key to getting Alpachas into that overtime scenario. It gives them the spike plan, it gives them the control that they need, and shifts the balance. The Alpachas that can come through and play out the time that can wait. Eugene, though, will be able to find something. But currently, Water Buffalo right around that corners. Too strong and unanticipated. The Alpachas look to bring this to overtime because it's only Skinny Bird Chest left. And the DK is starting to play against him. He'll be a very, very weak target. I'm afraid they'll be found in a moment indeed by Grady. We will be going to overtime. And as I said just a moment ago, I'm really happy with the way this first map is going. I would never ever have told you, yep, this is going to go to overtime.
Yeah.
There's clearly a really good skill matchup here.
Yeah, when we saw the ranks, even then I kind of thought, well, this could still go either way, right? But one team, I think, is mostly, if not all, Immortals. The other one, it's like Radiant here, a couple Immortals there, a couple Ascendants there. But you could put 5 Radiants on each side, and one team could still just stomp the other. Or you could get games like this where it seems like, there's a lot of thought process and a lot going into the mind of the game, the macro of the game, versus just having the micro. But we swap it up. Alpachas back towards, or back on the defense, and we're seeing the same thing from Grady. This time, though, he's not alone. So if AFGS were cooking up a way to deal with this Viper who had been holding the B site solo, they're, well, going to be sadly mistaken. Fortunately, they count their blessings because Water Buffalo missed.
That's a lucky start there, right? That's a good kickoff. Zerovius then coming ahead and finding that first frag jam. Now ready for the next, perhaps. Wells indeed will be finding it, but Zach throws it back. It's that initial trade again, right? It's that initial start. As now Zerovius moves ahead, hoping to find there's A-site control in the hands of them. Kind of Trash looking to hold it back, but the player advantage that is playing right there is key. Kind of Trash committing to a reload in the meantime. Grady and Water Buffalo also on location to find it, but Zerovius comes in clutch. A really good triple, and Skinny Bird Chest winning this one out. That is a great start for them, and AFG, they'll have gotten a critical round in, maybe even the one that could win them, because getting that first one in overtime at least gives you the momentum boost that you need for the next.
And Alpachas struggled on the attack. That is, I feel so bad for Kinda Trash. It just gets absolutely trolled that he tosses out the recon bolt and it reveals nobody. Didn't hit the player on the boxes at stairs. Didn't hit Zerovius just behind orange. Obviously, the players inside main didn't get tagged up by it too. So, not that you should just assume you're safe. You know, they just weren't ready for any of the angles. And Zerovius had a good start to overtime. Wants to have a good finish to it as well.
Oh, those operator shots can be so nasty sometimes, and Zerovius is the one to prove it. That is crystal clear. Kind of Trash, though. With a bit of a throwback. Wells, maybe a good headshot, but does not quite hit the mark. Luckily, Water Buffalo is there to compensate. Why not go to double overtime if we've already had the one? Seems like both of these teams are definitely ready for it, as currently the trademark does give a slight position away. But the Alpachas aren't quite anywhere yet. They've still got to claim that control on the A site, but that doesn't mean they're actually going there. As Wells gets a bit of intel for Eugene in the back. Zerovius, though, comes into play, and Eugene for a really solid peek. Will this be the AFG finisher after all, or will it be the Alpachas extending? Water Buffalo, really good read on Jam. Makes it into a 2v2, but obviously risk still has to be taken. The Alpachas that have to look, that have to find
30 seconds
an AFG
left.
that still have the time. Spike now moving towards the A site. Zerovius has been solid on that operator. In theory, one kill could be enough to delay. Indeed, will be found. That'll be the triple in total. Kind of Trash to fall. And now Zerovius holding that angle. Even the ult that could come into play, but the operator seemingly preferred. And Zerovius playing it out so well, forcing Water Buffalo to take a risk, but Eugene is already there. They're both pushing ahead. They'll both be able to find him and spray him down, you'd say, actually. And indeed, there it will be. It's Zerovius with the 4K. And with that, of course, the lads from AFG with their 14th round and the first map win.
Wow. That... Okay, Zerovius, I feel always top of the leaderboard. Good with the Marshall at the beginning, slowed down a little bit, really turned on when it mattered. That last round, he had 30 health in the 2v2, and Water Buffalo went crazy, killing Eugene. That easily could have been overtime, too. So, shout-outs Zerovius. Really, everything that you'd expect from a Jet player.
Actually, really true. I mean, Jet players, they've got to be as dynamic as they can be. And Zerovius made that point, I think. But really, credit to all the players there. I mean, we went to overtime in our first map of the day. I think that says quite enough in this matchup. A really good one to kick things off with. And just some really nice plays that came through. You know, 4Ks, not an ace. But I say not an ace just yet because it feels like there could definitely be one down the line.
Yeah, and I think we got... this is probably, in a competitive setting, my first time seeing the Reyna on Breeze. It is new Reyna. We did see some signs of brilliance. I think Weenie Winston kind of got lulled into the Reyna playstyle, right? I feel if you're playing Reyna, you're forcing every round because you can devour to get all your shields back. You have to play aggressive. You have to go for the individual plays. And it seemed like that's where Weenie Winston was leaning. And it did work sometimes, but it's that Reyna 50-50, right? Where if Weenie Winston wasn't capitalizing on the individual prowess that agent brings to the team, then AFGS kind of always had a hold on the game.
Exactly. In that sense, I think it's important that the entire team composition works, right? That it's not just the Reina, but that everyone can also compensate. Well, maybe sometimes one player is showing a little bit weaker, where one agent might be a little bit more challenging compared to the rest.
Yep, one a little bit better, one could be a bit more challenging. Fortunately, it seems this series is going to be a challenge, and it is going to continue. It is a best of 3. Unfortunately, RJ, for you, it's not a very long best of 3. Unless we get a third map, it's not a very long best of 3. We're actually going to say goodbye to RJ for just a moment, so thank you for joining me on that first map. And we're going to be bringing in a Salamander to join me for the second map of this best of 3. And there he is, Salamander, joining us right in the middle. Actually, not Salamander, Zordon. Zordon is joining us. We're the Power Rangers. That is Zordon. We say goodbye to RJ. RJ's been sent on a super secret Power Ranger mission. And Salamander, while we have some time, I kind of want to pick your brains, right? You told me that you are overseas right now, active military in the esports scene. What is that like for you specifically, or just like esports in general in the military?
I think what the esports does with the military is it brings like a sort of camaraderie that we kind of get from other elements, but we don't fully dial in like with our shop to these like hobbies that we all have. And I feel like gaming now in esports, especially Valorant out here, is a huge thing. And Valorant, we've been playing Smash, new fighting games have been coming out all the time that we've been like getting into these esports scenes. And now that it's growing in Kadena, it's starting to bring us all together in a way that I didn't think was possible with the Air Force.
Yeah, camaraderie. That's kind of the name of the game when it comes to the military. It does sound like we do have our next game ready. I'm not too sure where we're headed. I'm still guessing Ascent, unless you know something different, Salamander. I'm still guessing Ascent. And for you joining us here, not just a pretty face and an immaculate voice, by the way, you've also got a bit of background on some of these players, right? So you'll be able to give us a bit more color on the players themselves or even the teams themselves.
So I'm very excited to see Zach pull out that chamber again. I mean, we all saw his performance on that first match.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see him, you know, as a fellow Zach, topping that chart for, nice. You know, one of us. But yeah, like I'm very curious to see going into Icebox here what picks pull out. And I'd like to see the Sage, because I love that B-site Sage wall that you can put up and start pushing into and applying like a weird site pressure. But it doesn't look like I'm getting my wish today.
No, unfortunately, it seems we're being denied. Weenie Winston still hovering the Reina. Maybe goes back to it. Icebox, a map where Reina did have a bit more prevalence before the changes. Obviously, can still have a lot more now. In way of like, if we're talking about those B hits, you can play aggressively with the Lear out towards yellow and still get a blind all the way across the site out towards Snowman. So there are places for the Reina, but again, RJ and I talked about it. Maybe Weenie Winston kind of getting lulled into having to play as an individual versus, you know, being able to play with the team a bit more. On the opposite side, a lot of changes. Obviously the composition is different, but Zerovius is going to be playing something a bit more passive, right? Off of the Jet, now on the Sova. And we'll see if, I guess, ultimately, if he has just as much fragging presence as he did in that map previous.
I'm also very curious to see what Skinny Bird Chest does on this defense with the Raze. I know that Raze provides a lot of that like area denial, so it'll be interesting to see if they can apply a lot of that pressure to that pushing team if they decide to push it A, and just kind of stall them out so that the team can rotate either for a flank or just so that we can get more bodies on a site.
And I'm going to give as we jump into this one, a shout out to the observers. They've been doing a fantastic job on the day. So keep doing you. We had a long first map. We'll see if we get a long second one. And, well, it's Reina's doing Reina things, pushing all the way up towards the A side early.
Weenie Winston coming in like very fast on this site. And the Viper Wall, unfortunately, is going to put a slow to it. But it looks like Wells might be able to push out, get this pick on Jam, unless he gets hit by the dagger that looks like Jam's going to throw out. Unless he's hesitating on it.
Yeah,
right, the poison.
Yeah, it was a flash in hand after the 0 point queued up. Nothing off of the flash, but however, the kills They do find their way on through. Now that Spike in a compromised
One enemy
position.
remaining.
Zerovius getting that good angle there. Water Buffalo just being hunted down. 3 on. Hopefully, I couldn't get the pick. But luckily for Water Buffalo there, at least they were able to take 2 down. So their econ isn't, totally messed up in that sense.
Yeah, and it looked like a couple of people wanted to force on the side of Alpachas. I think, you know what? I said Reign of Forces all the time, so maybe it's just Weenie Winston, but I did see a Spectre bot up there momentarily. We'll see if that actually does come to fruition. It can be hard, right, on the attacking side to invest something extra, especially if you don't get that spike planted.
And I'm hoping to see a lot of the aggression we saw out of Alpachas in that first game. They definitely, at least the first half, were pushing sites real quick, and with that overwhelming pressure, we're able to take it. Winnie Winston's now hesitating a little bit, doesn't see Jam on this flank. Oh, does not get the pick. Winnie Winston unfortunately gets taken down, and I think Zach got a pick middle as well. Or it was B side got the pick. Kind of trash, hesitating in the back. And the 2v1 not working out for Zerovius, unfortunately.
Yeah, too many targets to worry about. Headhunter and Spectre are gone for Alpachas. There's Jam, who is low, so that would be a nice kill to find, but I don't know if they have the tools to do so, and that Spike still has to cross a very dangerous avenue out towards mid, and oh, there it is. Punished for it. Spike falls, and now the Alpachas, we just throw caution to the wind, just start pushing forward. But it works.
With that push middle, they got the pick, and hopefully, unfortunately from that top side of B, we're able to get a good angle on that push through middle and get that pick for the round.
It's not bad, all things considered. I don't think Winnie Winston's going to have the best of buys. Yeah, so Spectre Light Shields. It's kind of... Light Shields is home, I feel like, for Reign players, because if you do get a kill or an assist, you can just devour and top yourself off. On the opposite end, though, no reinvestment, really. It's a couple of Sheriffs, so they did good damage. This bonus round is going to be very weak for AFGS.
And we're seeing 3 light shields on both sides, so you gotta expect those headshots to come out from all those Vandal users. And allow that pressure to be applied there, because if they hit those headshots, that light armor's doing nothing for them. And it looks like we saw a little bit of that right there, just that light armor being shredded by a Vandal.
Yeah, a couple of body shots is all it took. Grady to do it again. Water Buffalo proven more to just be a piece of utility that the Water Buffalo is, and looking more like an actual Buffalo, just steaming through the defense. And with 1 remaining, no reason not to full send. I don't know what Eugene... Okay, just a Spectre, so... Yeah, I think you kind of just play exits.
Spectre here, you're just looking for an exit. You're looking for grabbing one of those Vandal players, maybe destroying a little bit of their money.
Oh boy, he's trying to survive. I gotta give it to him. He's still healthy. He walked away from it.
And Alpachas are pressuring him down. They are hunting him like he is the Water Buffalo right now, but unfortunately... Oh, Weenie Winston actually gets taken out. A Spectre for a Spectre, not the trade he was looking for. Hopefully he could have picked up one of those big money guns. But Grady is able to push out. Water Buffalo taking him down with the Vandal.
Yeah, damage at the end of the day. So reinvestment in a couple of shields and that 1 weapon. That was, however, just the bonus round for Air Force Gaming Silver. So not that you expect them to lose, but you're not completely blown away by Alpachas scooping that one up. And now it gets scarier. You highlighted Zach at the top of the map, and he's got, I feel like, one of the most proficient weapons, or one of the weapons that Chambers are most proficient with in the operator here.
And he's looking for that B long sight. He's looking for anybody trying to peek out, and it looks like we're going to get a Chamber v Chamber here. And possibly going with this A push still. They're tried and true on it. They've been taking the site pretty adequately. It's just what they do afterwards that you have to be concerned about.
Drone into the site. 12 just behind it. Nothing to be had yet. Winston needs to be careful. Winston, I think, was headshot through a wall, down to 23 HP and can't heal up yet.
And Winston here is just hoping for a pick to be able to heal up. But unfortunately, Wells goes down, trying to cross the zip. Jam takes 2 there, but Water Buffalo trades back for that. Birdchest trying to frag through that top part, seeing if anybody's ziplined over, but they already got him. Kind of Trash is on site, Spike is planted. They're just going to start, hopefully, peeking somebody with that dart, but nobody got caught.
And
so now the 4v3.
Yeah, and the post plant's not great, right? Weenie Winston just kind of has to put his body on the line there. It doesn't seem like shock darts are available. Zerovius actually just going to defuse the spike. Is planted safe. Well, they find the kills either way. AFGS off to a hot start here on Icebox after their win on Breeze. And Alpachas, I think... Okay, no, it doesn't actually look like it reset their economy. It might be weird coming into this next round, but it shouldn't be the best.
And it looked like Air Force Gaming Silver 2, after that round, were able to pick up a couple high-value guns for the Spectres that they were rocking. So you gotta be happy if you're on Air Force Gaming side. And you gotta be ready to play back and hope that maybe if you can take this round again, the econ on the other side of Alpachas is trash. They're gonna have a hard time, and maybe a couple rounds where they just gotta give them up.
Yeah, Water Buffalo has a very large job big shoes to fill, I should say, having the tour de force in this round. That is not the way that you wanted to start it. Very, very aggressive push from Skinny Birdchest. Found that early kill, and Alpachas are still fighting out of their spawn. Look at the defenders. Look how pushed up they are. Look at Jam, all the way up mid.
Now, if you would have told me, looking at this map right now, that Air Force Gaming Silver was the attacking side, I'd believe you. Because it looks like they're about to take a spawn site. They might as well pick up that spike and go plant it somewhere.
Seriously, go get the Radianite for yourselves. Absolutely. That is, I mean, so aggressive. And this is kind of where things get scary. I'm going to hold my thought because I think maybe there's a world where Water Buffalo just goes absolutely insane and starts to whip it on. A lot of targets to worry about. There's the third.
Water Buffalo taking 3 using that tour de force. Still has 4 shots left on it. All he's doing is looking for another pick here. But does he know that this mid site is going to be... He's got 8 health. Oh, with his knife out. What a shame.
What a shame. That kind of an oversight that he was thinking that nobody would be watching mid, right? You had players on the B side of the map. I think it was Eugene and Zerovius. He knew where the Viper was. Viper just boogies away, hangs out at the B site, and then obviously you have to have somebody either on A or watching that cross back towards A. So that's tough. That would have been an actual miracle should Water Buffalo had Water Buffalo won that round. So you can't really blame him for it. But they did invest a lot behind the tour de force. And now in this next round, Alpachas, they basically have nothing to work with.
And Alpachas is still going for this try and tree push. Stinger coming out. Oh! The headshot coming out from Winston on that push. That's a big... Jam is up top. I don't think Winston sees him. Unfortunately, Jam takes Winston out. Jam got the good flash there. At least 2 people hit on the back of that site. Oh my gosh. Wells is getting dropped. Grady's hiding in this Viper's pit, hoping for anything. Just the decay coming out, looking for the pick here. Luckily, with the guns being at this like poverty econ level, Grady is just able to pick off anything. People are standing in that decay for too long. And now it's the Viper v Viper in the pit. Eugene taking him out and able to get this defuse off in time.
Dying here would be unfortunate.
You hate to see it. It was played well. I think the only unfortunate thing there is if Eugene had just hopped onto the spike to defuse, he could have just tanked the snake bites because there wasn't the ult wasn't on top of it, and I don't think the poison cloud was there either. Obviously it came down to Eugene finding that kill and defusing, but just something to think about in the future. If Grady does decide to play that ultimate again, they'll have to put something extra on the spike, or somebody can just stick and then somebody can just hunt if there are more members alive. But I mean, this is it's just the AFGS show, right? The Air Force Gaming, again, just proving the prowess. Icebox, I'm assuming this is Alpaca's map pick because Air Force Gaming are starting on defense. I would think that they chose to start here. Either way, it's looking like Air Force Gaming's map pick, the way that they seem to be proficient on it.
And it's crazy with that play coming out, or with the round still going in their favor, with the Rays popping the ultimate and getting headshot. Like, that is a huge deficit with that ultimate just being lost and nothing coming from it. And the attack is looking good. Eugene defending very well. It's a 1v1 KOs. We got mirror matches all day. I keep looking at the reflection.
And another one. To finish it off, Wells, however, might not like his reflection when he looks at it and see a very healthy Jam on the other side. And Jam only takes one bullet to the chest, and it wasn't enough to find the kill. So a 6th round for Air Force Gaming Silver, who, reminding everybody in the chat, although they do seem to have a lot of fans, at least Jam has a lot of fans, Alpachas were the Series 0 winners, right? So they have kind of a title to uphold here, right? They're wearing the belts, and they're about to be dethroned in our first kind of iteration of this next run towards the title.
And if you're AFGS here, 6-1, you got to be feeling good. At this point, you came into this as sort of the underdogs, if you will, where people knew that Alpachas were good. AFGS, we assume they're good, but we want to see it happen. And seeing this after last game, I couldn't have told you it would be this way. Because last game was so close. It was a nail biter.
Last game
pushing this.
Yeah.
Oh. Skinny Burchess just needs to peek in a little bit more, and he'll be able to see, you know, the plethora of people on his side at this point, and he's got to concede back, fall back a little bit, group up with his team. Hopefully he gets some backup here from Eugene.
One enemy remaining.
Got one.
And there we go. Skinny Burchess picks one here. Eugene's down. Wells pick up Skinny Burchess, putting 2 back on to Alpaca's side. And hopefully more to come.
Yeah, this is,
I want to see this go to game 3.
I want to see this go to a game 3 as well. So we got like a small background on these teams, and for Air Force Gaming, a fairly new team, one player having competed in the MGL Military Gaming League previously, that being Zerovius, but that's the only one. And then Kark is actually the IGL for the team, and Eugene is filling in. So this team is coming into this one not only the underdogs, but kind of dealing with a lot of adversity. Having somebody fill, and it's not just somebody that's, you know, plucking and play. It's their IGL missing. And Jam just keeps collecting more fans. How could you not be a fan of that play?
Water Buffalo looking to take some of those fans when he, gets the pick on Jam. There we go. Water Buffalo pushing in very well here. Getting on top of that, but Grady picking up Skinny Burchess in the back of sight. And sack toward the force out. Zerovius looking for anything here, but with the classic, what is he going to do? He's got to push on. Eugene comes out with the frenzy. He's going to see the sonar come out, not ping anybody, but if he did, he should be scared. And he just proved my point there. Grady getting a perfect headshot. Eugene defending himself with this frenzy, but I expect Grady to clean this up. And there it is.
Grady is a really good player. Just in seeing that alone, obviously just making quick work of the pistols, but Grady was first to contact through screens, kind of in that mid-spawn area, and knew that the way that, I believe it was Eugene, was playing with the frenzy, kind of just spraying and jiggle peeking, that they must be baiting for somebody on the opposite side. And that's exactly what was happening, right? So he takes a couple of shots out towards mid, immediately sets his eyes towards the spawn, kills us over there, then hunts down Eugene to close out the round. So just very aware. Grady is a very aware player, and being aware in a game like this leads to frags and wins.
Now, Tanner, I got to ask you, what do Alpachas need to do on this attacking side to start to bring the momentum back? Because we're on round 9. They have a couple more rounds left to try to bring this in and try to at least make this half bearable for them. Leave it 6-6 at that half. But what are they supposed to do here?
Yeah, you know, it is really tough. Again, because of their choice of duelist, they're either forced to waste a lot of utility to take a site or waste or hang on to that utility, just take the fights and then play the post plant. If what I would say is if they're going to hit this A site, they need to do it either fast, like they did in that last round, and kind of catch the Air Force defense off guard, or they have to put a player out towards mid, which is what they want to do. It's unfortunate that, you know, if I know it, that they're going to try and lurk mid, obviously the defense is going to know, right? These players better than I, so they're ready for some type of, you know, off-hilter lurk play from Weenie Winston, and Zerovius capitalizes.
One down.
And Zerovius watching all the right angles there, unfortunately not getting the reaction pick on Grady. And they are actually going B site now. They're flanking around. Jam looking on that backside by Grady. Maybe he gets a pick here. Eugene with the ult popped, though, on me. Oh, and getting taken down. Water Buffalo planting on site.
Eugene trolled.
The Viper's pit up top was a interesting call.
Yeah, I think he was going for the one that it hits up top and the bridge and into kitchen, and he must have messed it up, and it just didn't work.
And now Zach's got a lot of work to do here, but he's doing it. He's putting in the work. He's putting in the time. Grady now the last one on, and it's the 1v1. Getting a little bit of his legs through that wall there, and Zach looking very unhealthy here. Oh, but still manages to get Grady. You'll love to see it.
Wow. Wow, if you're Alpachas, that's the one player you want alive in any 1vx situation. I already talked about how aware Grady has been. We even saw it in that round, right? Right after Zerovius gets that kill out towards mid, and Grady is lurking up in the kitchen, he understands that by this time, that this player can already have rotated this way and is probably holding this angle, and he gets the jump on Zerovius, just walking forward up through tube. Unfortunate it didn't go his way there. Zach obviously being standout in his own right, and that's nice for Air Force Gaming, because they're starting to get that momentum back. They don't want to give up too much. And I think personally Icebox a little bit easier when it comes to defense, so to find 7, it already puts you kind of in that driver's seat for when you have to swap over to the attack.
And if you're Air Force Gaming's over here, you want to be able to get that 9, and Jam setting them up for the right part, but unfortunately Grady taking that off and getting Skinny Bird chest. Wells is pushing back onto site, kind of tries doing a shock dart, missing. Unfortunately, that little back corner that Eugene's hiding in peeks out Wells. Just peeked out kind of trash there. Zerovius. Oh, Zach actually taking another frag. Zerovius moving around, though. Maybe looking for a flank here. Kind of trash taking back one on Zach at the 2v2.
Revealing area.
Very aggressive. Very aggressive play from Zach to kind of just plant his feet and fight when the players are out towards belt, and they have to make a play. They have to come to you. Fortunately, Zerovius just collecting the kills out towards mid. 5 health, though, and kind of trash. Makes this one look kind of doable.
And we've seen this before. Zach did it last time. Can kind of trash, flip it back on them. Their own play being low health, getting that frag. Onto a Viper, nonetheless. But Eugene, now hearing that bomb, is going to start pushing in. Hopefully, he is able to just pop this right here for his team and get them 8. Oh, unfortunately, kind of trash takes it.
Now and then. Thank you.
Again, the reaction is incredible on these players.
Last round before the switch.
Wow, that is a shout out, kind of trash. Get impact frags, comes in clutch when you need it most. He plants in an awkward spot where he's kind of trapped in. If Eugene had any util, obviously that round can go a different way, but confident to take the gunfight. And if he had snuck away and Eugene didn't play through mid, he had the Hunter's Fury online. So a lot of options for kind of trash, and he took the coolest one to win that round.
And kind of trash with his name, I was thinking he was kind of my spirit animal, but with plays like that, I have nothing to relate to.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Right? And we see the same A push coming out from Alpaca's side. Although we do see a little bit of more defense and a little bit more caution towards this mid push that's been happening. But Zach is pushing out towards spawn. Oh, gets caught by Water Buffalo. So they were playing that defense. They were expecting the push, playing it a little slower, a little safer. And now getting almost 2 frags, but unfortunately, Water Buffalo is able to take back Zerovius, but Zerovius didn't do that thing initially. And Eugene getting taken down for 7 and 5 when we go into this half.
A similar scoreline. I feel kind of similar story being told from Breeze to Icebox, where one team seemingly kind of getting out ahead, and then it takes a few rounds for Alpachas to really understand how to play around this defense. It is unfortunate that Air Force Gaming came into that last round with the most yard sale buy I've ever seen. It was like somebody had a slingshot, somebody was just throwing rocks, and then there was a Spectre and a Sheriff. It wasn't the best management of the economy. And for Alpachas, they're in the inverse situation that they were in last map, where you win the pistol and the anti-eco, then you're looking at a tie game going into your bonus, and they can afford to be a bit more aggressive in their anti-eco because Weenie Winston can force a rifle and light shields. They do, however, have to win the pistol.
We still see that A push coming out even on the opposite attacker side. And we see no defense on mid. Except for just a little bit of peek out, a little bit of kind of watching that angle in case somebody pushes it up, but mostly completely undefended, allowing people to push up, allowing Grady to push up into it, or Eugene, sorry, Eugene able to push up into it completely undefended. Oh, the trademark
Eugene's
hitting him
trolling.
though.
Eugene, no, that was so perfect. The 0 point suppressed Water Buffalo, so that trademark was is disabled for a few moments, but Eugene didn't push far enough past it.
And Eugene had to have seen it there on the push up. But luckily for Eugene, his team is able to push through that B side backside, and they're able to take the site here, just allowing them to move in. But we have Air Force Gaming looking for some action back. There's a little bit of a tension right now, as both teams just kind of like line up and wait to shoot each other.
Zach with a missed opportunity. Looks like he might take that reduel. Just outside orange. Weenie Winston holding it down. They still have to find their way onto this site and onto the spike. Fortunately for Alpachas, they are finding the kills. Good damage back and forth. Wells to find the next. Zerovius and Jam get in the mix. It's Zerovius to close it out. And Air Force Gaming grab the pistol and grow their lead.
And now I'm understanding why Jam has so many fans, being able to lock down a site as efficiently as that. Being able to disable that chamber. Unfortunately, Eugene did not capitalize on that play, but we still love to see it.
Yeah, still love to see it.
And I'm expecting another A push from them here, but maybe we'll see something crazy. Maybe we'll see all mid. I don't expect it, but...
Yeah, this is... All mid would actually be a good call. Obviously, it's hindsight because we see the 3 shorties for the defense. But on both sides, right, there's not a good place to play to deal with what could be close angles and shorties, except for mid. So we'll see if there's any value from the Alpachas with these weapons. For now, they're all just getting revealed, and, well, there go one of the shorties.
And Weenie Winston's shorty falls short there. Kind of trash also being taken out, but at least the trade comes back for Water Buffalo with that Headhunter. Jam now taking this site, locking down that staircase. Unless he just left it open, Zerovius unfortunately stopped watching at the moment Water Buffalo crossed the window.
Toaster is broken. Teleport's ready.
And a nice headshot there. Water Buffalo now accruing haters because he's taking down Jam, and all the fans are in Water Buffalo's DMs. Saying some not so nice thing as Grady. I don't know what game Grady's playing. He's bunny hopping across the sites. He's trying to make it work with the shorty. Unfortunately, it doesn't, and Zerovius able to collect another couple of kills, which gets scary because 2 away from the Hunter Shuri, and you're looking at a Sova that has so much potential in the post plant once they get that spike down.
And you see the 2 light armors on both sides here. Unfortunately, the money is not on the side of Air Force Gaming right now. Skinny Birdchest only buying that Sheriff and light armor, and Jam only having the Spectre and light armor. Oh, a Stinger coming out. All right. It's interesting to see how these teams are playing around maybe their pocket pick weapon and then start moving into the sites, as we see Weenie Winston locking down, seeing 3 people come through, or about to see 3 people. He sees Birdchest, Unfortunately, Jam pops out and pops him with Bird Chest, getting the assist there as Bird Chest takes the kill. We do have Zach watching mid. Jam just needs to peek around that corner. Peek around that corner, take that shot. Because if he applies this pressure right now, of course, you know, it's hindsight. We can see where everyone is in the map. But with that one defender that was on site before Kind of Trash showed up, it would have been a perfect take on their side. A slow push by everybody. Just, oh, disables. So you just saw 4 people there. You know they're here. You gotta be asking your team to rotate around. And now the variable comes out. Zach taking that mid spot, pops Grady, or sees Grady. Takes B successfully. Now pulling around on that side. Grady locking down this top part. His team following back up, but he's in a 1v4 situation right now. And you gotta hope that his shots are true.
Spike planted.
Skinny Bird Chest taking the kill onto Grady. And Water Buffalo taking this slower out, but Zerovius is watching that flank. He's not going to be able to take this easily. Zerovius isn't going to give it to him without a fight.
And it's Stinger versus Vandal, but that Stinger just feels like a baby Vandal these days.
Especially in the hands of the right player. You give the Stinger to anybody who's able to land those quick burst headshots, and they're going to take it out. Speaking of things that are being taken out, Zach taking out 2 there, and Zerovius cleaning up the round with that headshot Stinger.
The Stinger. We all saw the stats after Champions, man. The Stinger, between the 2 years at Champions, went up 100+ kills, and then it got buffed, and it's really starting to become a problem. The accuracy for the first few rounds in just shooting the Stinger alone, it really is just a baby Vandal. It obviously doesn't do the damage, but same amount of bullets in the magazine, and same accuracy for the first 3 shots. As Zach first to contact out towards mid and is about to be greeted by a couple more Alpachas.
Brady coming down from that ramp and being able to take the kill onto Zach there with the Bulldog nonetheless. And we have this A-site push, tried and true. It's going to keep happening until they can stop it. Here comes that Sova ultimate with the push. Able to pop 2, almost got the 3rd one, but Skinny Bird Chest was like, this one's mine, I'm picking this one up. Eugene stopped watching at the wrong time as Winnie Winston pushes a little bit in. Could have gotten that kill there, and now having to worry about Winston on that top part and Kind of Trash from behind. As, Bird Chest not watching the right side. As Kind of Trash is able to take that shot. Being able to jump up top. Luckily, the Viper's Pit is coming down, making this a harder site to take. Weenie Winston is in the Viper's Pit. Smoke coming down. Does not get it as Jam proves his fans right by being on his side.
Things, they just always seemingly go wrong, right? The pit comes down. Eugene is just looking elsewhere. Weenie Winston sneaks by him. Finds that kill. Jam there. Jam makes it work. Jam will always find a way. Jam can always fit one more kill into the kill feed, especially if Air Force Gaming need it. And again, I will just say that I'm incredibly surprised. My biases were leaning towards Alpaca, just given, you know, the recent history, but Air Force Gaming Silver proven themselves to be real contenders here. And it's nice to see that the competition is, you know, we get good back and forth, but we also have rounds or matches where teams can whip it on, and you have players that you really do have to worry about, such as Jam.
And we have Jam watching the spot. Winston taking a little bit of heat. Water Buffalo being able to watch this like backside, getting a good angle, taking a little bit of damage. Or getting a little bit of damage, trading that back out. We got the KO v KO, but Jam coming back, doing what he does. Hopefully, he's able to fall back with his team here safely. Unless they decide to keep with the A push, which it looks like they will. Jam go ahead and disabling Winston here. We have a Raze ult out. Unfortunately, that Raze ult is now 0 for 2.
Spike down.
We have not seen it happen at all here. Zach taking a good shot. And Water Buffalo adding insult to injury on Jam. You're going to get those DMs. You keep shooting his body like that. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Shooting bodies again. There's a lot of fans from Jam, so gotta be careful there, Water Buffalo. Fortunately, Zach alive. Zach's one of the players that you want to be alive for AFGS, and
you gotta be wondering
spike,
here
but...
too, since Zach doesn't have the spike, he doesn't have
left.
the ability to apply this pressure. Does he look for the peak since they're 11 and 5, or does he just save the op for a strong, possibly 12 and 6? Oh, okay. Oh, made my heart race there for a little bit. I thought he just peaked with the op and then made me have to sweat a little bit more. But it looks like at least he's keeping that op on that attacking side, and they're gonna look here for this 12 and 6 with the op in the hands of the very well-abled Zach.
Yeah, very capable Zach. And the economy's great behind it. So it's not just a hero operator coming into this round. The credits or the eco well enough for Air Force Gaming to buy up around it. If they lose this one, Alpachas will have a reset on them, and it could lead to, you know, some more momentum, a couple more rounds. But they do have to win that. But look at this, Winnie Winston. I mean, it's been a heavy lean towards A, basically every single round on the attack here, outside of when things go kind of sideways. And I don't think this has ever been done by Winston.
Yeah, watching that side off angle. Water Buffalo using the Tour de Force to take down Eugene Middle. Jam gets another pick on Weenie Winston. Unfortunately, that side angle when he was watching through the grate did not work out for him. Kind of trash spotting a lot of people, but a little bit too late. He was in his cameras, he was watching the CCTV, and unfortunately didn't pay out for him there. But Water Buffalo's Tour de Force is doing work for him. He is able to use every single bullet as well as he can. And Jam on A site with the spike, you gotta expect him to plant it here, and you gotta expect Zerovius to apply support. Once he plants, the position's going to be changed. Oh no! Water Buffalo left unaware as Zerovius just pops that head. Wells knows where he is now,
Spike
but in the
planted.
2v1, with a spike down, a shock dart getting dangerously close, and Jam knows where Wells is too. Getting the suppression down, Zerovius picking that up for 12 and 6. And we're on match point!
A complete inverse of what we saw in map 1. A nice back and forth. We swap sides. We get taken into deep waters. We have some standout plays, and we get overtime. This time, Air Force Gaming say, hey, we're not making those same mistakes. We want to close this one out nice and early. We want the rest of our Saturday. Maybe hit up the, I don't know if you guys call it the PX in the Air Force. Hit up the PX. Make sure they get the haircut if they need it. They're trying to get out of here early on a Saturday.
And if you're Alpachas, what you did is you went to the BX and you got the bad haircut today, because that 12 and 14 first game, that was close. That was a nail biter. But right now, if we would have gotten another 12 and 14, Tanner, I would have asked you for the script, because you couldn't write anything better than that. But unfortunately right now, Zach is just PMing here. There's no need for that. Especially, you're 12 and 6, I get it, you're feeling yourself. But man, you got to be feeling good, and he was showing it there. But then you get traded back? What happened? You got punished for your actions there. Jam, you got to pull this through for your team. Luckily, you saw the copter come out, getting the pick on kind of trash.
Standing ahead.
While Zerovius takes down another one mid, leaving a 2v2. Jam and Zerovius, the dynamic duo. They are going to hopefully pull this together if you're on the side of Air Force Gaming. And they might just do that. The Weenie Winston is having to push back from that A site onto B, where they're planting the spike, and they're going to be able to get that positive control and be able to watch that upper angle. Right now, it looks like they're watching back of sight. Weenie Winston stealing the vision, hoping to get a quick pick here. He sees where the spike is planted, so he knows in the back of his head he's counting down the time. He's counting down those numbers, he's checking every angle, but this is a lot of pressure to apply to him on match point. And especially with the very safe spots that they are taking it.
Standing ahead.
All Jam and Zerovius have to do is play this safe spot. They don't have to worry about anything. Shock dart coming out, a couple pokes coming out. Weenie Winston, unfortunately, cannot pull it through his team, and Jam winning it out for Air Force Gaming Silver.
Yeah, Air Force Gaming Silver, 2-0. We talked about it kind of leading into that there at the end. A very close map 1. That was kind of that And that was like that first round of, like your UFC fight where you're playing the reach, you're kind of getting a feel for one another. I think what made it really easy for AFGS, Air Force Gaming Silver, to get a good read on Icebox on Alpachas is they didn't play anything too different, right? They bring that same duelist in. They know how Winnie Winston wants to play that Reyna. So it makes it a little easier when you switch to a new map and sure it's a different landscape to kind of settle in, to understand what the Reyna is looking to do, right? The one time, Salamander, that we kind of talked about what Alpachas needed to do, and I said, hey, maybe lurk somebody up mid, right? Play somebody a little bit later towards that A site and have that crunch. AFGS were just ready for it.
Yeah, AFGS just played it to their outs. They were ready for everything that Alpachas threw to them. That 7-5 start was kind of hinting towards that maybe we might see what we happened during game 1. We might go to this game 3. But after seeing exactly what AFGS, like how they dynamically started changing up their mix-ups, their lineups, their positions started changing depending on the push. And then locking down that A site. We saw A site all day, but the B rotations, I think, were way faster on AFGS's side.
Yeah, it all looked really good once they shored up some of the small mistakes that they were making that made it a close first half on the attacking side, or defending side, rather. And then moving over towards that attack, they kind of just took over from that. And I want to remind you guys, so I think I'd seen something in chat, an Air Force team versus Air Force Silver team. So we're kind of a little bit all over the place, right? Air Force Gaming Silver obviously leaning Air Force for the most part. And I know on the Alpaca side, they had a couple vets. I know a Marine Corps vet. I believe their coach is a Marine Corps vet. Some Space Force members, some Air Force members, and I believe an Air Force vet as well. So a little bit of everything kind of making up that Alpachas team. And if you guys are really unfamiliar with what's going on here, you should know what the MGL is if you've stumbled across this. If not, and you're just a Valorant fan, well, welcome. This is the Military Gaming League, where our overall kind of goal here, or our overall what drives us at MGL, is to support the overall wellness of U.S. military and veterans by giving them a unique way to play and compete together, because as we all know, esports is kind of flying through the roof in way of popularity. And if you guys thought that we were done for the day, we're not quite finished just yet. We are currently waiting to get one of the players, I believe Zach, on the line from Air Force Gaming Silver, and then Salamander will be taken away to get that interview ready. So as soon as that comes our way, we're going to be chatting with one of the players, and then we can kind of stop speculating on what worked well for them, and we'll kind of hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, and start picking into the brain of all the Zach plays that he did, like with the chamber play coming out so strong during that first game, and then being sort of that rock at the very end of our team. And we're going, it sounds like we almost have our guy in, but I am ready for to sort of pick his brain and see like how he does what he does and how it connects to maybe how it affects his job.
Yeah, I think that's kind of something that people in chat, myself included, would love to know, right? How do you kind of balance that work life, esports life? And it does sound like that interview is ready. So I'm going to step out. I'm going to toss over to Salamander, and he's going to take things away with Air Force Gaming Silver's Zach.
Hey, Zach, how are you doing? It seems like I'm not getting any audio from him right now. Oh, there we go, Zach. Okay, so first off, I got to say, as a fellow Zach, thank you for performing so well, because, somebody's got to do it, right? So what is your AFSC? What do you do? Okay. And the rest of your teammates, are they in the same AFSC as you? Or are you all from around? Gotcha. So my biggest question to you, after seeing that game 1, the 12-14, seeing how close that was, how did you guys transition into game 2 and perform? It looked like a whole new team coming out the gate.
Of course. So basically, we had a chat beforehand, and we had to get our mentals ready. so hyped after that first game, just because we've played this team before. We know how they play, and honestly, they beat us before, so it was really, really awesome to just take that momentum into game 2.
And have you guys scrimmed with Alpachas in the past, or is this just like a grudge match between y'all at this point?
It's pretty much just a grudge match. We've played them before in a show match for the Air Force and Army.
Do you guys think that with your Air Force stuff that you're better players at communicating, like your in-game communication is better overall, or do you think that has no play in it and you guys are just god gamers?
Personally, I think we're just god gamers.
Okay.
It does help just a little bit because we've been playing with each other. We have stuff in common. Just like it's easy to talk to one another. But I think overall we're just god gamers, you know.
Now I gotta look into the future a little bit. I gotta peek in. Where are you guys going next? Where can we see you next?
So we're gonna be competing in the Department of Air Force League. We just played a game earlier today as well, and hopefully we'll get to the finals or competing for that Air Force jersey to be that Air Force team. So that's pretty much it.
Well, I'm excited to see what the future holds for you guys. I'm excited to see where this goes, and great playing today. It was amazing to see you guys, and I think now I'm gonna throw it back to Travis.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming up. Oh,
Me
Tanner's
again.
back. Oh,
Me again. Sorry. Not Travis. Just me.
Not Travis.
Sorry to get your guys' hopes up. That was really cool to hear. Incredibly insightful from what looks like a very young player. A very, very young. That also sounds cool that where they're at, that Air Force kind of funding is not the right word, but the structure that they have around these teams, that they are competing for, I don't know, maybe his job just becomes competing in representing Air Force. That sounds sweet.
Right. And if you're looking at anything, that's got to be the peak for you, where it's like looking for a franchise spot in the VCT.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, and maybe, we'll see him there someday too, because he is a young guy. It looks like, if he's playing at this level already, he could have a lot going down the road, and I'm excited to see where he goes.
Yeah, I would love to see some of these teams. I see it in chat, VCT champs next. Maybe not VCT champs with the way that partnership program's going, but I would love to see some of these teams coming out and competing for both sides, right? I think there were some really standout performers. Obviously, Zerovius kind of stood out to us on the Jet, had some pretty high intuitive games on the Sova as well. But then on the opposite side for Alpachas, I thought Grady, there was one time, and it was at the end of the game, where Grady was not expecting an angle. And that to me just says that the kid has what it takes, like very high intuition and perception on the server. So that was really surprising to me. I came into this today, Salamander. I don't know how much of the MGL that you get to watch yourself, but I was gladly surprised by the level of competition we saw today.
Just because of the time zone differences, this is my first MGL game, and I am now hooked. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be tuning in. I might have to be a VOD frog, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to catch this amazing Valorant gameplay.
I've never heard VOD frog. I'm going to start using that from now on. Salamander, unfortunately, we only had you for our second map of the day and our interview, and that is going to be their last map of the day. So, Salamander, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us and joining me on the desk. We do say goodbye. I know it's probably your day is either getting started or about to end, so with you being across the pond. So, thank you for joining us. Actually, I want to give you kind of the floor before we get back to Travis.
Yeah, I want to thank MGL for the opportunity to come out and cast today. It is very early for me. It's almost 7 a.m. So probably going to take a nap and then figure out what my day looks like past that. But I'm just happy to be here, happy to see some good games, and happy to get a little bit more casting experience under my belt.
Yeah, Salamander, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to bring Travis back into the conversation. Travis, it's just you and I. I thought we would have RJ, but it's just you and me, buddy.
I appreciate you guys casting for us. This was an awesome production. Thank you to the team, obviously, for putting the production together. You guys for coming out. Salamander, last minute military casting. Thank you so much for coming out. RJ as well. And hey, those games were fun. I
Yeah.
always enjoy watching the military play because for me, I don't watch competitive esports, but I get into it when I watch the military compete because I know from a personal level how competitive we are. So
Mhm.
it's super fun to watch these teams play against each other. So yeah, I appreciate you, appreciate everyone in the production team that put this together. Thank you to all of the viewers for hanging out with us. Again, this was the first match of Season Alpha. We're going to have a bunch more matches coming up next weekend. We actually have a double header. We've got the Armed Forces Dungeon Clash going again. If you missed it last time, be sure to come in and watch it next Saturday. I believe it starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And then following that will be the second show match of the Valorant series here that we're doing. And then the following Saturday, another Valorant show match. And then after that, we've got League of Legends, Rocket League. We got a couple of fun events going on. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you are following us on Twitter, Twitch. If you're a military veteran, supporter, NATO ally, any of the above, get on Discord. That's where we put out all of our information. That's where we have games. That's where we're looking for groups at. That's where you can put together teams for these events. So make sure you come into the Discord, discord.gg/military gaming league. Join us there, and we'll get you set up and ready to rock and roll for the next season. So see you on the battlefield.